My name is Trinity, and if you are here, you must be here to talk about books because that's the only reason I'm here, to talk about books. And in today's video, I will be doing my quarterly update on the PopSugar challenge. Now, if you don't know what the PopSugar challenge is, it is a challenge that I do every year. PopSugar is a very popular lifestyle blog. However, they issue this reading challenge every year. It's great. I have a couple of videos relating to it. You can go back and watch those. But I want to give you guys an update on what I have read and what I'm going to be reading soon and what I've DNF'd. For the challenge, a book published in 2021, I did read H.M. Long's Hall of Smoke. I loved it. I gave it 4 stars. It was great. I definitely recommend people picking it up who really like stories about mythology, especially Norse mythology, because it's a very Viking-esque. And I think Hannah did a great job of interweaving Norse mythology with her own way of telling the story. Very good. The second prompt that I have fulfilled is an Afrofuturist book. I read Benty very recently. It was good. The first book was good. I do have the complete trilogy, so I will probably keep reading my way through the book. But I did very recently talk about this, and I said that I liked the cultural aspects of the book more so than I liked the sci-fi aspects of the book. And so I'm very interested to see where Benty goes in her university and her education. Very, very excited to continue with Benty. The next prompt that I fulfilled was heart, diamond, club, or spade on the cover. Now, initially I chose Ace of Shades to fill this prompt, and I did not care for it at all. I really, really wanted to see if I liked the whole gangster aspect, because I'm really not interested in Jade City. And I wanted kind of a baby step into a Jade City type story to see if I would like it, and nope, didn't like it. And it's probably put me off to Jade City as well. However, I did read Heartless by Marissa Meyer, and it is the prequel to Alice in Wonderland. It is about the Queen of Hearts and how she became who she is. I'm sorry, my dog keeps interrupting me and I'm getting real annoyed with him, and so I keep losing my train of thought. But anyway, Heartless, it was so good. I really enjoy Marissa Meyer's writing, and I've said before that the only way that I can think to describe her writing is it's fun. It is a good time, and yeah, everybody read Heartless because it's fantastic. The next prompt that I fulfilled was Dark Academia, and I read A Deadly Education by Naomi Novik. Now, let me say that I almost DNF'd this book. I was this close, and someone convinced me to go ahead and push through and that it would get better. But the main character, Elle, was driving me insane. This is first person, and I could not stand her thought processes. I could not stand the way she treated people. I could not stand the really ridiculous view she had of herself. And I was just like, don't care for this. But someone convinced me to push through, and I ended up really liking it. However, I do want to point out that this book has become divisive because there are some racist things said in this book, and It is towards Arab people, and I can understand that a teenager may unknowingly say some things and it come off not the way that they intended, but that is not the case with a very particular part of this book. And I don't want to spoil things because in talking about what happens, it spoils part of the book, but there is a moment where it gets real racist directed towards Arab people, and then it's kind of inexcusable coming from an adult. Like, it's just, like I said, I understand that teenagers may say some things that they don't intend to come off that way, but do. But man, there was one part that was definitely like, whoa, why did you put that in the book? Like, was that absolutely necessary? Ugh. And it wasn't a teaching moment either. It was not something that someone said it and there was a discussion. It was just there and not dealt with. So it is pretty bad. I did end up enjoying it though, and I think I gave it 4 stars, but I do want people to be aware of that. I don't know what else to say about that. But that fulfilled the Dark Academia prompt. And then the next prompt that I filled was a book seen on a friend's shelf, and I read Crescent City by Sarah J. Maas. I didn't like it. And I went back and forth between I liked it, I didn't like it, I liked it, I didn't like it. I didn't like it. I wanted to like it, but I didn't like it. And the reason that I didn't like it is because I didn't like the romance, and that is a very central thing that Sarah J. Maas has in all of her books is a romance. And when you can't get on board with a romance and you're going to have the romance thrown in your face, it is enemies to lovers. I don't mind that trope, but the way it went down and who was involved and is a little out of my comfort zone. And I didn't think that they worked well together. I didn't think that they should be a couple. Now, had they went from enemies to friends, I could understand, but I don't know. And then the book dragged on for like 200 pages, and so I didn't like it. The next prompt that I fulfilled is a locked room mystery, and I read The 7.5 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle, and I really enjoyed that one. I loved the mystery of it. I loved the unique aspect of the body jumping. That was really intriguing. Again, I gave this one 4 stars. I think that I am a Stuart Turton fan. The writing style was great, very atmospheric, creepy, and I liked that all of the characters, even though you were essentially the same, like reading from the same perspective, you could tell when the body hop happened and they went to another body because of the way the character shifted. Really well done. Really well written. And then a black and white cover. I read Shadow and Bone by Leigh Bardugo, finally. I really enjoyed it. I really loved the Darkling. I know that a lot of people, it's very divisive on whether or not you ship Elena and the Darkling, but I think I do. I think I do. The more I think about it, the more I do. And again, just very good. The next would be an oxymoron in the title, and I read These Violent Delights by Chloe Gong. Loved it. And I am very excited to get to the next one. I want to know when it comes out because I need it. cliffhanger. There's a cliffhanger. But again, Romeo and Juliet retelling set in 1920s Shanghai. And 1920s Shanghai has its own problems. And then we get a Romeo and Juliet retelling set amongst those problems. And it's very good. Do-overs, fresh starts. I originally had The Four Winds in this slot. However, I am currently reading The Bone Maker by Sarah Beth Durst, and I think I'm going to go ahead and slide that one into this slot because I really think that this fits the prompt better. I have started The Four Winds, but again, I wanted something that fits the prompt, and while The Four Winds says it has this, I don't think it quite fits as well as The Bone Maker. And so shoving that into this slot, and again, currently reading it. So far, it's really good. I like Sarah Beth Durst writing. Magical realism. I initially had A Song Below Water here, and if you guys watched my vlogs, you will know why I removed it from my TBR. It is not a permanent removal. It was just, I was going through some stuff and I picked this book up and I was not ready to be going through some more stuff. And so I had to set it aside just because I had so much going on in my own head that I didn't need it compounded. And so I might pick that up again later, but I had to DNF it for the time that I was wanting to fill this prompt. And so I read Magic Lessons by Alice Hoffman, and we are back with the Owens family. This is the start, the originator of the curse, and I liked it. I didn't like it as much as I liked Practical Magic, but this is told in a very folklore-esque type way, which I don't mind usually, but it really separated me from the actual story. And I didn't like that because I wanted to be involved in this story. And then where the curse originates, I was hoping that that was going to be a big part of the story. It wasn't. And the romance that initiates the curse is not well written. And it just, some things felt like off. And they didn't hit as hard as I was hoping they were going to. But again, it's good. Gave it 3 stars. Like, still worth the read. And then a book written in a different format than what I usually read. Winter's Orbit by Everina Maxwell. I loved that book so much. So much. And I can't get over these cinnamon rolls. They're just so sweet and precious, and I want to hug them both. But sci-fi novel, political scheming, romance, great, 5 stars. Highly recommend if you like romance. Highly recommend if you like cinnamon rolls. Not the food, the people. But so good. So good. And then the shortest book on my TBR, I read The Test by Sylvain Nouvel, and oh my gosh, that story is messed up. Like, so much stuff is wrong in that story. Ugh. I still get thinking about it. I'm like, oh, that man, that's jacked up. I don't even know what to think about it. Basically, this guy goes in for his citizenship test, and the test is not what you think it is. It's not what he thinks it is. And he has to make some really, really odd, awful decisions to prove his citizenship, and things go very, very wrong. very, very wrong. And then poor dude's freaking traumatized. So, whew. It's yeah. If you want a little bit of a mind trip, go read this. Okay, the next one is a book I associate with my favorite person, and I chose my Discord group for Horizon Zero Dawn fan fiction and read, spoiler alert, so good, so to the T what fandom is and how fandom works and how fanfiction authors talk to each other. It is so good, so good. There's so many elements of this story that I thought were fantastically done, and even like the little Discord chats, like definitely a big part of fandom. And there is some body positivity going on here. Body shaming does happen because that is part of what our main character goes through. And it's so good. Again, I gave this book 5 stars. And I did not give this book 5 stars because of the romance. Even though I did enjoy the romance, I loved the fandom aspects of this novel. They were done so well. And I'm not a big fan of contemporary, but this one hit the nail on the head. Okay, and the last prompt is a free book or a book of choice. Basically, a book that was given to you or gifted to you. And I chose Sorcery of Thorns because it is a book that was purchased for me for Christmas by a couple of people. So I figured I needed to read it. It's also probably the prettiest book on my shelves, and I can understand why multiple people bought it for me because it's just darn pretty. I thoroughly enjoyed this story, and even though it's young adult, I would highly recommend it to any fantasy fan because it's about a girl who wants to work for this library and care for the grimoires in the library, but she ends up in the middle of a political scheme and ends up having to side with the enemy in order to save herself and figure out what actually happened and who is loosing these creatures out into the world and take them down. Very, very good. Character-wise, this book is phenomenal. I really liked how well Margaret Rogerson wrote characters. Atmosphere is great. Writing is great. Highly, highly recommend it. So that is 13 prompts fulfilled out of 50, leaving me with 37 more prompts to fulfill before the end of the year. I think we're on a good track to have that complete, and I will see you guys in my next video. Like, subscribe, do all the fun things. Also, comment and let me know if you have read any of these books or if there is anything else that you would have plugged into these prompts. Bye!